So this is another question that, since we've been talking about what's going on in the market, and this is more for the savvier investor,
Okay.
what is actually going on in the market that is making people uncomfortable or making people feel that they can actually jump into the market and buy? What is it that's happening?
We're guessing.
Is everybody?
I'm sorry. Let me not say guessing. We're taking real world knowledge that we have and theory of how it's supposed to work, and we're doing our best to interpret that. And it's a lot of things. Supply is an issue. Demand is high. Depending on where you live in this country, are you going back to work? Are you? I don't know. It's just so many different things all wrapped in one. We're stopping. We're going. We don't know if we're stopping or going. That's just the climate.
Our whole world has high anxiety, and it typically, let's just call gold, when things are, the crisis of 2008 kicked off a run up in the price of gold and silver that was very nice, and it was large from the $800 level to 1925. So sometimes those occur at times of great stress and anxiety. When you're unsure, it becomes gold becomes a metal of safety. And perhaps that's what seems to be the beginning of this market now.
So are there outside influences that are still affecting the market?
That's demand.
That's just demand.
That's demand, yes.
All right. So in that demand, how are we resupplying the market? Is it the mint that's doing this? Or various.
It has to come out of the ground, or
So
it has
mining.
to be recycled, yes.
So we're remining or recycling.
Yeah.
Okay.
China is the largest miner in the nation, in the world.
In the world. Okay.
They keep their gold. They do not export. South Africa, every other nation, the South America is the North American continent.
Okay.
Australia is a big source right now.
Yeah. So it's either coming out of the ground or it's being recycled.
Recycle.
Yeah.
So as an investor, and I'm looking at the market, and it seems volatile in some ways, but yet alone it seems stable in another way, depending on what's going on. Advising somebody who has, like say we said that earlier windfall of money or cash that I have, to invest now is a good time to do it? Would I say it's today a good time? I know it's probably a bad time anytime, but I know there's good and bad in every type of market that we're in. So.
A good time, yes. You feel like the price might be high, but it's not. It's within the distance of the highest price that it has been several years ago. So, if the world continues down this rabbit path that started in March, if there's still a lot of anxiousness and anxiety, then I think you will see the price of gold and silver escalate.
That's one. Okay.
So, if you need some security, if you want to hold something, if you're unsure about your government or world affairs, then precious metals for thousands of years has been it.
That's been it.
Yeah.
I've got customers that say that they've had gold since it was $200 an ounce, $500 an ounce. I think now's as good an entry point as any. This is the first time that I've seen personally walking into my store or inquiring people under the age of 50 in large numbers. So I'm getting new people who are under a certain age that have, if I told somebody a certain age, hey, have you thought about gold and silver? Trying to pitch. They would look at me like, why would I do that? I do stocks. Those same people now are the people that are coming to me now and are saying, So about that gold and silver,
Right.
how does that work?
Good.
For some reason, it brings some sort of peace, reassurance,
The security.
so the security. But I would say it's not just immediate security. I think long term, it will give a generational wealth that you can't beat.
I'm glad you said that. So, the generational wealth. So, when I'm buying my grandson a gift, would you think it'd be a wise thing to buy them a silver coin?
I do.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Graduation
Right.
just passed.
Right.
My daughter's 6. Her and her friends. Well, I didn't get one for her because,
Well, it's
but-
in her name.
but all of her
Instead of-
friends, I gave 2 silver coins.
Yeah.
Nice.
I give each of them every year a proof silver eagle. Yeah.
Nice.
And it's not going to pay for 2 semesters of college tuition, but it'll be there when it's needed for something else. One of the things you need to think about when you're investing,
Yes, good.
especially for with the precious metals. Let's say something happens with your paper, okay? If you're thinking, oh boy, gold's at $5,000. I don't want to see what my world looks like with gold at $5,000 an ounce. You probably don't either. But one of the things that you'll have with this is after the crisis is over, it's still there. Now your paper money may not be there. I don't mean currency, I mean your stocks, your bonds. They may have been moved around. The government will do anything, can do anything. And the government can do it with gold too. But if you have a portion of your wealth after the crisis, then that's where it's beneficial. That's where you still will feel the security and comfort.
I'm going to throw a layer to that. Here in the States, or America, I should say, we forget to look at other countries and how those individuals have dealt with their crisis, because this is semi just coming to America.
Right.
My customers that come from other places, South America, the Middle East, Asia, this is how they cope with things. And when things have hit the fan, so to speak, they've been able to weather the storm through metals. And
That's a good point.
as a culture, we've always had security, but waves happen, things happen, and like Bruce said,
Things fail.
if
Institutions fail.
if all your eggs are in one basket, I don't care. The smartest person is putting all their eggs in. I mean, they're putting their eggs in different baskets, and I would say even our institutions. This is what they back their stuff with. So if it's good for the people with money,
Should be good for the gander as well.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. So that makes the security something secure that's there after the crisis.
Okay. So are any other predictions that may be coming down as we've seen the market actually take a flux and taking a hit, especially in this economy? Any particular prediction that is looking at what we should in turn
I would
prepare
say
for?
we have a very unsure winter ahead of us. Unsure. I mean, I don't know. It could go left, it could go right, it can go up, it can go down. But like I said earlier, we're doing a lot of theory to real world application, and the uncertainty, I don't know, because winter is coming and we haven't had a quote unquote grasp on what's occurring society wise.
Okay.
Whether it's political, whether it's financial markets, whether it's health wise, there are just too many things being jumped into the pot at the same time to say, yeah, it's going to go this way. We have no clue.
You have people that you respect as being very smart people.
Mm-hmm.
We all do.
We all do.
And the ones that I have spoken with say, we don't know. I don't know. So prepare for the worst and expect the best.
Respect the
How
best.
about that? And precious metals can do that too. Just
if you're prepared,
Yeah.
you can't go wrong.
yeah.
Worst case scenario, you just overly prepared.
So, give me a scenario of preparedness, if you don't mind. What does prepared look like?
The money question.
The money question.
That's the money question.
Yeah.
Preparedness. I said a few minutes ago that you have precious metals for after the crisis. Maybe you have to sell some to get through the crisis, but you have something more valuable after things have been reset. Okay? So my preparedness is I want to know that my family's going to have food. That's important. And that you have to have water and you have to have a home. All right? So there's a place to go, or you have plans, you're prepared for a shortage of food. My goodness, look how many people they were short on toilet paper.
Yeah.
You know?
It's running out now.
You see, that's exactly. Make sure you have some of the basics. Make sure you have food. Make sure you have basics. You can't eat silver and you can't eat gold, and it doesn't matter whatever they are. You couldn't have bought a 20-pack of toilet paper with a gold coin before.
It's who you know.
Be prepared for another crisis. This should have taught you something, and have that gold sitting in the background, and the silver, waiting for when that value rises to the point where it is more important for someone to have that than to have their toilet paper or their cans of sardines.
Right.
So be prepared physically, and then be prepared fiscally.
Yes, fiscally.
Yeah.
So, you want to answer, Andre?
So, like, my father-in-law, as I was saying, Dad was, hey, we should be making these profits, and money should look like this, and I said, okay, let's say you have $1 million right now. What do you spend that on? Where do you go? How is that money gonna, like, your lifestyle? I said, you hedge your bet. You're gonna do your basics, your home, food, family. Then, you want to make some money along the way. There's always opportunity in crisis. And if you can, then you prepare for the future as best you can. And make the best. You can't, there's only so much you can do. Sure, you can pick up and travel, but where? There are limits and restrictions and, let's say, advisories that you probably should adhere to with the climate that we're in. And just enjoy, make the most of your moment.
You said something just a minute ago. Your precious metals are an ultimate hedge. That's hedge. That's safety. Hedging is safety.
It is safety. Good.
Yeah.
So, terminology that people hear all the time, what the heck is hedge? Hedge my bet.
Yeah.
Well, hedging is knowing that if, factually, right now, I don't know everybody's city, but if you wanted to walk into your bank, you probably can't.
With a gold.
No. I mean, doing regular bank transactions. We're not talking about
Oh,
metals.
yeah. Okay.
I'm talking about
We're not doing that.
you're not walking into your bank. You can't. You're swiping, but if you wanted to walk into your bank and do some transactions, you probably can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if things escalate, then your situation escalates as well. So keep that in mind.
So let's talk about, as a last point of question, how do I educate my children, my family, the people that are close to us about precious metal? How do I go about doing that? And in investment, we're talking about investment,
Okay.
without beating them up a little bit or without being too technical. How do I help educate them?
Bruce is further down the road.
Boy,
than
this
me.
is just not a good question. How do you motivate a 15-year-old?
Yeah.
You know, that's one of those questions. Uh, um,
I'm working on my 6. You've got a 6 and a 1.
yeah,
I got a story for you though.
why don't you tell that story? Because, my children are they're working through the grind, or two of the families are working through the grind of raising children.
Mhm.
And what do we do? We've got a little money left over. That's when I can say this may be a time that you can look at some gold or silver.
Good.
You don't need, for that amount of money, you don't need to hire a financial planner. You don't need to hire a financial person, because they're going to make more money off of your money than you will.
Correct.
So take that money and just stick it into precious metals. I feel a few years down the road, you'll be much more pleased with the value of that, and you'll have that ultimate hedge, and you'll have that security, and you'll feel better about it.
Good.
So spend just a little bit of money on it, as much as you feel like you can afford, and then when you think you've got enough of it, then stop whenever you feel comfortable with it. Now, some people, that may be 100 ounces of silver, or that may be 10,000 ounces of silver. But young people and children who are raising families and doing that daily grind, that's a hard thing to think about and wrap your head around doing that. But if that's possible, then
Educate them.
educate. Yeah, that way.
Yes.
So as I said previously, I've had more customers under the age of 50.
Mhm.
I've had more families coming in. The husband will come in. Hey, I'm wanting to do this, and he's taking his disposable play money to put into metals because he feels it's important to do it right now. Tells the spouse, she likes it. They come in. They bring the kids. I've had a financial planner tell me this. If you want to educate your kids, don't assume they can understand it, and do it in front of them. The more you do in front of them, that is the basics of what they're going to know. And they're going to know this is normal, this is regular practice, and this should be practice.
Correct.
And I've had customers come in with their families, 2 small kids, 5-year-old baby in a carrier. And the kids are like, "Hey, Daddy, what are you doing?" And they're on the table, they're at the counter, and they're picking it up, and they're intrigued. And it's good information because you tell it to them as good information. So the story that I came up with was during this COVID situation. I'm up dealing with the 1-year-old at like 5 o'clock in the morning. Across the hall is the 6-year-old. Go to the 6-year-old. She's up. I walk in. Papers and stuff is all over. Toys are in bins. I said, "Baby, what's going on?" Now, we're entrepreneurs. Self-employed, And I see our daughter. She's like, "Daddy, watch out. That's my artwork." I said, "What are you doing?" Up to this point, she just started kindergarten, beginning of the year. She said, "I want to be a princess. That's what I want to be." Everybody else is saying what they want to be. She said, "I want to be a princess." So let's fast forward to March from September. If you think they don't listen, you are sadly mistaken. She then says she wants this doll. The doll costs about $100. $100 doll. Don't ask me. She says, "I want this doll, and I want to raise some money." The papers on the floor are artwork that I'm selling.
Oh.
She has her workbench the little Fisher Price. She says, "I'm going to set up my shop. When everybody wakes up in the house, I'm going to sell it." So, backdrop, we're at my in-laws to deal with this COVID situation. So she says, "I'm selling this artwork, and the toys in the bin are toys that I'm selling to raise the $100
For the doll.
for the doll." 5 o'clock in the morning now. I'm thinking, what are you doing up? Around 8 o'clock when everybody's up, she's literally out in the hallway. And you think that they don't listen, because I've been trying to tell her, do this, do this, do this. She ignores me. So I thought. Yeah. She's literally sitting, and I have a picture of her sitting out, and it's the best feeling in the world to see your little girl out. And it's like, I work hard, and I think, does she listen? Does she not? So now she's asking me questions like, hey, nobody's buying my products. These are her words now. Nobody's buying what I'm selling. Mm-hmm. And now I'm giving her advice on running a business. Mm-hmm. And I go, baby, why don't you go what your customers are? She said, all the customers are in the kitchen. Everybody's having breakfast. I said, yeah. So bring your business to everybody else. She goes, okay. I leave her upstairs. I go downstairs to the kitchen table. She brings her bin, and she says, good morning, everybody. I'm selling toys. So I say, okay. I see a ball in the bin. I say, how much for the ball? She said, $100. I said, no, it doesn't work that way. I say, okay, I'll buy that ball for $15. I buy the ball, which I have clearly purchased already. But I say, once I purchase this ball now, I'm buying it for your brother. I don't want to hear anybody argue about this. So the moral of the story is, if you do it in front of them, they will retain it. She's 6.
It makes a bigger impression.
And they see value. And I have a lot of customers that have purchased stuff and they say it's for my kids. And when they do it with them, instead of saying I'm going to give it to them, go purchase it with them. Go spend, or even just do your regular finances. Balance your regular budget in front of them. Tell them how much you make. This is the best literacy that they're going to get. My financial literacy came from my mother balancing the books, saying, this is how much money we have. If you want a bazillion toys, can you figure out how to get it from this budget? Sometimes they had enough money, sometimes they didn't. But I wasn't asking for crazy things because I knew this is their budget. And you're thinking to yourself, am I putting a burden on the child? The child comprehends better than you. The more you ignore them, the more they will do things the other direction. So that's my story. One of my proud moments of life.
Excellent.
So.